Hey guys, welcome back to our second interview. I got Finn here. Thank you for coming on.
No worries.
Thanks for having me at your house. I got kicked out of my house. It's sick. And we'll just get right into it. So just give the people an idea of like who you are, what you do. Just an overview of who Finn is.
Well, an overview of me. I'm studying Bachelor of Business and Law at ACU right now. Trying to hopefully move into law when I finish up. I'm a local kid from the show who enjoys going outside, having fun with his friends. That's pretty much it really. Pretty laid back kind of guy.
Fair enough.
Hopefully that was enough.
No, that was good, that's fair enough. And so how are things at the moment? How's it been past couple of weeks? I know we've got this pandemic going on, but how's everything been going?
Yeah, it was interesting in the first couple of weeks because I'd broken a routine that I'd had going.
Right.
And that was frustrating to break that because I really enjoyed, going to the gym, doing the right things for myself and, having a balance of going out on the weekends and also maintaining an effective routine of study.
Right.
But now that I'm locked up inside and I can't really go anywhere or do anything, it's changing that routine a little bit. And that was frustrating for the first couple of weeks, but you slowly adjust and realise what you need to change and what you need to do. But other than that, it's been relatively okay. Like I really miss going outside and doing things with my friends and going to the beach and stuff like that. But it's been okay. I'm not complaining. Hopefully, I'm not complaining too much.
No, not too much. I think it affects different people a lot. And so like this schedule we're talking about, it's like gym and making sure you get in uni, and making sure you fit in time with friends and going outside and that. Was this like during this time were you like really like improving with mental health, and were you like really enjoying how everything was going?
I think the biggest thing for me was like mental health became a big thing in my life maybe 2 years ago when I just had this massive bout of confusion about who I wanted to be and where I wanted to take my life. But it's just having a foundation of good friends and family members that just pick you up when you might have hit a bump or you're trying to get over a pretty big hurdle in your life, and you go, well, this is what means something to me and I value that, and that's what I'm going to focus on. So having a good schedule by going to the gym, improves your mental and physical health and you feel better about yourself.
You meet different quotas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then balancing that with uni as well, you go, well, I'm improving my mind and the things I want to learn about effectively by reading on a schedule and a basis that's comfortable with me and that fits in with my program or my schedule.
Yeah.
And it's just about balancing that effectively, and then you go, well, since I've got that balance, I now feel more comfortable with myself and the direction I'm heading in.
Yeah.
So that's really what worked for me.
Yeah. It's like you wake up with like, okay, you know what you got to do for the day, and you have that vision, which is good. So I'm going to move on to the second part of the interview, which I call like the ugly stuff, or just going through the different issues that Finn's experienced. So I'm going to start with describe, I guess, your illness, or what was like the issues that you were, you've been going through. If there's like a definition.
I think the biggest thing for me was during high school when it was like I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to head in.
Right.
And then combined that with other feelings about stuff I was having, I was going, well, I feel really confused and I don't know how stable I am right now.
Right.
Which just made me spiral even further. And I ended up seeing the school counsellor and was like, you know what, I'm having all these feelings and emotions about, where do I want to go? Is it worth me like sticking around? What do I want to do with my life? And she goes, well, the biggest thing that I took from it, she said, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like, because when you curl up in the corner going, I'm so confused and I'm so anxious about the future, I don't know what direction I want to head in with my life. To hear someone say you're not alone is, it's a really big thing.
And I think that was a big step for you to not brush away that confusion and actually address it by going to someone. Like many people don't take that first step, and that's huge. And I feel like that, that was like a huge help to you, just to kind of keep you going and.
Yeah. Because some days I'd get home and I'd just be like, man, what am I doing here? But and it was just the like, it was questioning my own existence as well. I was wondering, you know, what happens if I was gone? You know, what would people care about me being gone? Is it better off me being here? And then that, questions like that for a 16 and 17-year-old aren't good.
No, they're not. It's too much to really handle. It's like, you're supposed to be thinking about
footy on the weekend.
Yeah, footy on the weekend, and then you shouldn't be dealing with these type of thoughts, and it's tough.
I suppose, as you said before, the biggest thing that helped me through it was seeing someone who had professional experience and then telling me that, you know, I wasn't crazy or I wasn't, you know, thinking all these things that were wrong. It was, you know, it's part of human process to think, you know, what are we all doing here? Is it better for me to be here or not be here? And just to be told that, you know, you're going to be alright, just keep your head down, put yourself in your work, and then love what you do. Yeah,
that's true. I think because the whole, what's changed is that back when my parents were around there in like the 60s and the 70s, there was this whole idea of your career that you don't really have this passion. It was just you do this or you do that, and you just get up and work and you don't worry about it. And now we have so many options at our hands. It's so overwhelming, and everything's so complex that you don't really know where to start, and when you don't know where to start, you're not moving or anything, like you're not moving forward at all. So this confusion that was arising through, you know, kind of like your purpose and what you were here for and what you wanted to do, that turned into like a day-to-day anxiety, or was it more of like just like a long-term anxiety?
I suppose the long-term anxiety or stresses of it have kind of dwindled because I worked out where I kind of wanted to go. So the big problem was over, but for the 3 or 4 months there, I was, you know, really struggling with it.
Right. Yeah.
And I was going, you know, if I just keep my head down and I just keep working hard and I just keep going through the motions and, you know, just keep talking to my family members about what's going on and, you know, keep talking to my friends, I'll be okay.
Right. Yeah.
And thankfully I was, but there was, you know, a period of time there where I didn't think I was going to be okay, and, you know, I was going to do something which either hurt me or, you know, hurt someone else.
Right, yeah. And that's like, that's really, again, that's a tough thing to think as a 16, 17-year-old. To be like at a point where you're thinking about the other side and thinking about those thoughts. It's and it's good that you've gotten past that. It's great. Like
thank you.
I honestly wouldn't have noticed being one of your mates, and I think it's great that you've gone through.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Where did you first, I think already covered this, but when did you first kind of notice these struggles, and when did you first tell like your parents about it? Because I know you talked to the counsellor.
It was an interesting process because I think it was November of 2018 or July of 2018. That was the period where I was kind of going through the motions.
Right, okay.
And it was going, you know, if I don't perform well enough at school, I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do. And then that led to more anxiety because I was going, if I don't do what I want to do, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And if I don't enjoy that, what the hell am I going to do then? So it was just a massive spiral.
That's the word, spiral.
Spiral, you know, just despair really. So that wasn't enjoyable at all.
No, I can attest to that. It's not fun, and that's a big thing, that when you have one thought about whatever it might be, and you can't resolve that right then and there, that thought spirals into something else and something else, and then it makes you just so,
having an overactive conscience doesn't help.
It really just puts you in a box.
And then you feel, you know, what am I going to do inside this really small little box, and the only way to get out of it is to break out and realise what you want to do. And that comes through, you know, having a good schedule, having good support structures, and understanding what you want to do. And it's not the same for everyone. No,
not at all. Like, it's one thing might work for you, it might not work for someone else, and that just takes time, really.
Exactly. And just as long as you're patient with it and you take each day, you know, it's a day-to-day process. So you just keep going and keep your head down. Hopefully you'll be okay.
Hopefully, yes. I think the general misconception is that people are just stuck with it and it's just in them and they can't, you know, get rid of it. But I found it's really in your own hands to go out and be like, okay, yeah, this has been happening to me, but I'm not going to
let it control me.
Yeah, I'm not going to let it control me. That's a big big decision to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this confusion and this anxiety about where you're going in the future, was it constricting? Did it force you to be very inactive, or was it, on the other hand, was it more make you more sporadic and rapid with everything, and you were trying to fit in all different things in the day to, I guess, compensate for the thing at the back of your head that you were worrying about?
Yeah, it was more the fact that some days I'd have really big bursts of energy and I'd really be up for things.
Right, yeah.
And other days I'd just be like, my lad, I swear. I'd be like, fuck this. I just don't want to do this.
That was right. Katie asked about swearing and I was like, yeah, it's all good. And then she was like, shit happens. And I'm like, okay. No, that's fair, you can swear. I can blurt it out or something.
Yeah, anyway, I'd be like, fuck this. I'm not up for this today at all. And I'd just be stuck doing something that was unproductive, which led to more anxiety because it hadn't been productive that day.
Right.
And then I'd be anxious about anxiousness, which was really frustrating.
Anxiousception.
Yeah. And as you said, that just led to me going far out, how do I overcome this hump? And it was the only thing for me which worked for me was to just completely involve myself in my work.
Right.
Just be dedicated to what schedule you've set up for working out, or be dedicated to your readings and your work or homework at the time, and just try to be prepared as best you can for upcoming exams or stuff that's going to hit you in the future, because life's going to throw you curveballs anyway.
Yeah.
And just as long as you try to reduce the amount that you're going to receive, it's going to be better.
Yeah. And that's how you were trying to react to your situation better than just letting it happen. You were setting yourself up for your future by studying and trying to get that good ATAR.
Exactly.
Yeah, or good score, if anyone doesn't know what an ATAR is.
Yeah.
So on these days where you had big bursts of energy and then days where you didn't, do you think sleeping patterns had an effect on that?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was some days I'd be totally awake for from 5 o'clock in the morning until midnight, and then I'd do it all again. 5 hours sleep in high school, which wasn't good.
No.
And then you'd have a bad day the following day, and I'd be asleep in third period.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't the fact that I didn't realise at the time how important sleep was. Because if you're getting good sleep and you're understanding what your body needs at the moment, you can just give it what it needs rather than going, I'm going to stay up until midnight tonight and then get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. No, that's not how it works.
No, that does not help.
Because your body's going to hate you for the next 24 hours until you give it what it needs.
Yeah. And that's a deadly cycle. You wake up and you take so long to actually wake up that by say in the afternoon, you actually start to get a bit more energy.
Exactly.
You've gone through the day. And then that energy lasts for the next 12 hours.
Exactly.
And then you go to bed again at 3, and then it's hard to break that cycle.
It's an awful cycle.
It's not good at all. And I've also had the issue of oversleeping as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, oversleeping. There's undersleeping and then there's oversleeping, which not only wastes the day, but you get up and you're not really ready to take on the day in any way that you're not
ready to tackle what your normal schedule is because you've slept 12 hours instead of your normal 8.
Yeah, and so I think the best thing I've found for sleeping habits is preparing for sleep 2 hours before I actually want to go. So that means trying to get off technology as much as I can, set my alarm and just leave it there, and sit down and maybe watch TV with the family because it's further away, and maybe read a book, get something more to eat. But yeah, it's something you need to start to calm down 2 hours before, because it would change a lot.
Yeah, your body's not going to get the right REM sleep, and you're not going to be ready for the next day, which is really annoying.
Yeah, no. It gets very annoying when you wake up and you're always tired, and then you go to bed and you're really hyper.
Yeah, and you just can't go to sleep because your mind's doing 1,000 miles an hour.
So what role has like social media played in all of this? And massive, yeah.
Or I'd like deactivate Facebook for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And Instagram for maybe a month, because I was just like, I just don't need to see any of that.
No.
I just need to concentrate on improving myself rather than looking at, the next supermodel on Instagram and going, well, I feel terrible about myself.
Honestly, it's so detrimental. It's like, and the whole comparing yourself to other people who are online, who came from different places and who had different things, and it's like why am I even comparing myself to this person who is a completely different person?
Exactly.
Completely different head. Completely different head. It's gone through completely different things. It's just so stupid that we tend to do that. I do it myself.
Yeah, we all do it.
Yeah, and that's when thing off, as you said, is like just get it out of here.
I just don't need it right now.
No need for it. Focus on something that's real and something that's has some substance to it. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the lowest moment you've experienced, or the scariest kind of moment that you've had with all of this confusion.
Oh, it was a few. It was more the fact that I'd drive home from school and just be like, if I just ran myself into that car.
Oh jeez, yeah.
What would happen? Would people be, sad that I was gone? Would people care? And it was that point that my mind was so twisted. I was like, well, perhaps I get a true outpouring of grief and sadness because I was actually gone. I'd feel something real by, doing that. That was probably the lowest moment that I ever had.
Jeez.
And I was like, every time I thought about doing it, I never did it because I knew that my family and my friends were waiting for me at home. And I was grateful that every day would happen after that, because I was experiencing something rather than just nothing at all.
Mm. That's real. Yeah. I can say that when I've had thoughts like that and they got too much, one thing that brought me back, it was just okay, this is one day.
Exactly.
Maybe next day is going to be good. And sure as hell, the next day was a great day, and it brought me back, and it just made me think, okay, I am here, and I'm worth being here, and I'm not going to just give up because something in here is telling me just to give up.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So you kept a journal of your thoughts, a diary. So you care to share anything about that?
More the fact that it was just me. If I had really bad days, I'd write in the diary about how I was feeling, and I'd go, well, I'd basically contemplate my own mortality.
Right.
I'd be like, what is the point of me being here? And then I'd rationalise why I was here. I'd go, well, I've got good friends, I've got good family, I've got things that are keeping me here, and I have a vested interest in those, so I'm not going to lose those over because I'm having thoughts of, sadness or, any thoughts like that at all. Because I understood that journal helped me rationalise what was meaningful.
Right.
And what I wanted to pursue, so that was a massive help for me.
I did the same. I would just write down just how I was feeling, and there's no metaphors that you can put. You can't really beat around the bush with that type of stuff. I just wrote down how I was feeling.
Exactly right.
And I look at that, and I had a date on it, the top of it, and I look back at that, and I'm like, man, I was feeling like that a year and a couple of months ago.
Exactly.
And I'm like, man, and I thought I wouldn't get out of that, but I did.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing about writing that stuff down. That was, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, it was 2018, 2019. I was being so raw and honest with myself that it just alleviated all this burden. And I was going, I feel like a brick, not a brick, 1,000 bricks have been taken off my shoulders.
Right, yeah.
I just feel so much better about myself, and I'm ready for any new challenges.
That's great, yeah, that's good. And I think I pose that to any of you guys who have these thoughts, and if you're not comfortable talking to certain sorts of people, you can just write it down and express that. It's weird, it's subconsciously just alleviating pressure, I've found. Yeah, so you give it a try. So when you eventually like told your parents and they knew what was going on, how did they react, and how were they, how were they like supportive in that sense?
First, it was interesting because it was like, oh, they felt like they'd not done enough.
Right.
And I was like, no, you're fine. Stop getting angry at the fact that you don't feel like you've done enough, because you're not the problem. It's the fact that I just want your support and want to know that you've always got my back, which they did, which was great to come home to that environment and know that I was going to be okay.
Right. Yeah. Was it It's a bit of a weird question, but do you think
it's all right
that being like an only child had a bit of like an impact?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. There wasn't a brother or a sister that, as I said before, you go, oh, you feeling like this as well? They go, yeah. And then you go, oh, great, I'm not the only person that feels like this. And it felt like I'd missed someone that I thought I could confide into. And when you're spiralling like that, you go, it just compounds, and you feel as if you don't have a necessary source of someone who's young enough or in a similar age bracket to understand what you're going through.
Right.
Like, your parents are great, but my parents are 60 and I was 16 at the time, so there's there's a 40 years age gap right there, and you think back to high school and all that, but it doesn't feel as real as someone who's going through it with you.
Right. So at that, did you find anyone at school or just socially that kind of felt the same way as you, and you could talk it through with them?
Well, people like yourself, honestly. Right. Because it was like, dude, you're going to be okay. Just take each day as it comes and just be alright with the fact that, you're not the only one.
Right. Yeah. And
that was basically the gist that I got from you, Peter, everyone else in, that friend group. And it was just instrumental in, finding a path to peace and being okay.
He's the hey, my guy. Check the merch.
Rep the brand. Link in the description.
For you, by the way. I do have a shirt.
Oh, thank you.
It's too small, so I have to get in the bigger one. It's all good.
You call me fat.
I'm keeping this. I'm definitely keeping that in. So, did anyone notice this like mask that you were putting up? Because for me, I never really noticed that you had been going through this. Like, whenever we would meet up and do stuff in school, it was all cool. Like, it was just all jokes and that. But I never noticed this mask until I think you started talking to me about these different things. So did anyone actually notice?
Yeah.
Before you really, yeah.
People noticed, and they were just like, oh, you should probably talk to someone about that. And I was like, I already have, and I wasn't diagnosed with depression or anxiety. Yeah. And it was just these feelings felt normal, and I'd normalised them, so that was a good place for me to be in, rather than going back to the psychiatrist at school, the psychologist, and just being like, oh, I'm having telling her my every thought, because I was comfortable with that normal place. But I don't know, I didn't want to bother people either, because it's just oh, I'm having a rough time. It's just well, just toughen up, just grow up. And it's just well, I've not been feeling sad for a day. I've been feeling a little bit off for a little while now, and it's making me a little bit uncomfortable.
And that's such a it's such a dangerous thought to have, that I don't want to burden them. I don't want them to feel like I'm dragging them down.
Yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm worrying them.
It's either you talk to them and listen to them and understand what's going on with them, or something more drastic could happen, and then at that point you realise how valuable that, or how important that decision was in that situation, to be like, hey, toughen up, or hey, I'll listen, let's talk through it. I'm sure you're not the only person out there. Just giving those type of things. Making that decision is very important.
It's that reassurance more than anything that you're not crazy. Don't think that you're crazy. People think like this. They have these thoughts. Yeah. It's not that you're the only person that's ever thought about this in the entire world.
No.
You're not sitting alone in the corner. you've got someone there who's willing to lend a hand, and more hands the better.
Right. I think there's also this idea that if you're not diagnosed with something, it's just not, that you just don't have, or you're not running those patterns. I feel like anxiety is everywhere. Everyone deals with it. Everyone worries about the future, and so there's a diagnosis for it, but there's so many different ways that it can just escape people, and you can put that mask up. And
exactly.
Because they just base it on how what you talk about and how your feelings reflect, and that could not be what depression or is it or any of those type of things. But it's like a spectrum. There's so many different areas of mental health. It's not one certain thing. Oh, you have this, because they all kind of interconnect and they collide. Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, like if people say, "Oh yeah, I'm diagnosed," it's good that they know that and they can work on it. For people who aren't, there's this idea that they're not struggling or they're not they're fine.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, like as you said, talking to someone like a professional who has experience in their industry, and saying, I'm having these thoughts, am I depressed? Am I anxious? And they go, well, you being in bed for the past 6 months and not moving and not being able to communicate to anyone would be, it's a pretty big sign of depression at times.
Yeah.
But don't take my word for it, talk to a professional.
Right.
I'm not a professional. And it's like talking to someone and then going, well, you're not depressed, you might have a bit of anxiety at times and you might be nervous about things, but you don't have a massive mental illness.
Okay.
Which is, I think that if you do, you seek help and you get it, and that's great, but it's like, by talking to someone, which I did, and then telling me, you're not crazy, you're not, and like mentally ill people aren't always crazy.
No, it's not this, they're insane or something. No,
yeah,
not at all.
It's like, depression, anxiety, they're very different things.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that, if you talk about mental illness, it just reduces the stigma around it, which is really healthy.
Right.
But I never got diagnosed, so I don't feel like by talking about it, I'm putting myself in the same ballpark that people who do have diagnosed depression, because I haven't experienced that.
Yeah, right.
Like I might have had confusion and been spiraling out of control at times, but I wasn't, suicidal at every point in my life.
Yeah. So now up to the vice, revelations and reflection part, which I think is like the most important part in all of this. And a lot of advice and different things are all the same, but that I think should tell people a lot about mental health just as it is. There's so many different great pieces of advice that you just need to reaffirm yourself continually. I have a question just about the therapy. So you would see this counsellor like how frequently?
I only ever saw them twice.
Right.
So I think I saw them first in July of 2018, it would have been around about that time, I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to them about how I was feeling, the thoughts that were running through my head, and they were like, well, I don't think you've got depression or anxiety, I think you just need some balance in your life. You just need to take away all this chaos and just put yourself back into what feels comfortable and then challenge yourself. Stop, generating all this chaos around you because you don't need it. This is a crucial time in your life. And I was like, you know what, that's fair enough. And then I started being responsible with my actions so I didn't generate as much chaos.
Okay.
And then the second time I saw her, it was like, well, I think you're improving and you're doing well, and I'm glad with the progress that you made. And I was like, I feel comfortable now. I feel like back to where I'm stable and I'm ready to tackle new challenges.
Yeah, right.
And then after that, I didn't feel as if I needed to see her again. So I just kept writing in the journal that I'd been keeping, and it just kept me sane and stable.
Yeah.
And it was just really valuable after that to go, well, I'd check in with myself every few months and see how I was feeling, and that just kept me going and kept me steady, which was just really valuable and really important.
Yeah, and you could see improvement as you continue to go,
I started balancing myself more effectively and maintaining my schedules rather than breaking them to just satisfy unnecessary habits.
Yeah.
and it was just healthy for me to just keep that routine and keep going and talk to family members or, you know, close ones if I was having any troubles.
Right. Okay. So in terms of like some therapeutic activities, and this can really mean anything, just things that bring you back to reality and help you just appreciate life for what it is, what were those sorts of activities?
Meditation.
Meditation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more just like breathing deeply and just realising that you're in the moment and everything's going to be okay. And then if you need to take 20 minutes, half an hour, or even an hour out of your day at the end of the day and just calm yourself and just like concentrate on breathing exercises and just having a nice controlled environment around you, that can be absolutely instrumental for individuals who feel like they're going through the motions of mental illness or feel confused or frustrated at where they are. It just brings everything back into reality.
Right. And your body responds to that. Like it's you can have a mindset about something, but I think the action is like huge. Like if you take action to get better sleep, to eat better, and to see more friends more frequently and meditate, as you said, it's all these great things that your body's going to be like, oh, you know, I'm working well now. Like I'm gonna be okay. Like that's point blank. So I'm gonna go through the best advice you've received and also like the worst advice you've heard.
Best advice I ever received was, I think it was blame yourself once and then move on.
Right.
Because it was more the fact that I'd felt so guilty about some of the stuff that I'd done in the past, and it was like, it's over.
Yeah.
Don't need to worry about it now. The only
yeah.
direction that life goes is forward.
Right.
So there's no point concentrating on stuff that only brings you pain and suffering. If it teaches you a lesson, that's different.
Yes.
But if all it brings is misery and, you know, chaos, don't worry about it.
Yeah, right.
Because it's not teaching you anything.
No, yeah, of course. It's just bringing you back to that time essentially. So that's good. Yeah, moving forward and yeah.
I think the worst piece of advice I ever got was, it's probably not one that stands out. It's more the fact that people just go, well, toughen up.
Yeah. Oh my god. I talked about this with Cody.
Yeah. What's wrong with you, man? You know,
ridiculous.
You're a man.
Yeah. The whole man thing and that.
And it's been like, you know, I understand that to a degree because individuals do have to be tough. Yeah. But it's like, you know, I'm just feeling so overwhelmed. Would you just shut the fuck up and let me talk to someone for 10 seconds about how I'm feeling, because I'm feeling really overwhelmed and it's not fair right now. Yeah. So yeah, toughen up to a degree, but you know, you don't need to be the Hulk.
No, no, I don't think so. I really hate that piece of advice people give, because that they can say that and they can just get on with their day.
Exactly.
But then they're like, okay, how do I toughen up? How do I...
Yeah, and that just leads to more questions and more spiraling. Yeah. Which isn't really healthy for an individual that's experiencing those feelings.
Yeah, it puts you down even further. It's just not healthy. I think the best thing to do, if you know, people talk about this whole toughen up thing, I think it's just to treat every person as if they might be going through something, and not in a way that's just, you know, coddle them.
It's just like, hey man, what's going on?
Yeah, just constantly asking questions and making sure that, you know, their version of normal, what that is true or not. And yeah, that whole their version of normal might change over time, and then you might not notice that. And so this whole toughen up thing is just a myth, I think. Yeah,
like individuals, like, you know, they can be tough to a degree, but you know, they can't carry every burden in the damn world.
No, not at all.
And when you're experiencing those thoughts and feelings inside your own mind, it just leads to an unnecessary imbalance. Yeah. And it just makes you spiral more, which is just, it's dreadful.
You know what you're trying to do.
You hate to see someone go through it and suffer like that.
Yeah. And it's like, you want to reach out and help them and do different things, but you also want to say the right things and not the wrong things, and you want them to hear what they need to hear, not just what they want to hear. Yeah. Different stuff like that.
I think the biggest thing that with any individual that's going through an existential crisis or is suffering from some sort of illness or mental illness is just knowing that you're there is the biggest thing.
Right, yeah.
Because if they want to reach out, they know that you're there and you're going to give them what they need because you're a good person and you understand what they're going through, and it's not a weakness, it's just something that's happening to them.
Yeah.
And by saying, I'm here for you, or would you like to talk about it, is one of the biggest things that anyone can ever do.
Mm. And I've noticed that when I've talked about it, most times I cry, but after I feel like so much better. Like I just feel I can breathe again.
Yeah, exactly.
It just feels so good to cry sometimes. It does.
Damn right it does.
Oh, God. So, what are some like false like stigmas and stereotypes that you've found surrounding people just going through mental health, or yourself who's trying to find their feet in life?
I suppose there's a lot, but it's more the fact that I think men have it tougher.
You reckon?
It might be a controversial point, but it's just like, hey, you're a man, you need to toughen up. You got to be able to carry the weight of all our burdens. I'm not saying that people don't have burdens, they do.
No. Yeah.
But it's the fact that you've got this stigma to be bigger.
Yeah, to be bigger than
sometimes you feel that small. But you don't feel very big at all, and when you're feeling like that, it just feels awful.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that happens with women, I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
But it feels like the moment you're a man, you've got more to carry.
Right. And I think that's something that's improved over time, like this whole awareness for men, mental health. But there still is a culture that I think needs to be driven out, of just toughen up and just
you're a man, be a man.
You're a man, be a man. Like what's that? Where's that definition come from? It's just it comes from the whole strength and the brawn and all the
exactly right,
of what men are typically like, but it just doesn't reflect how we all are on the inside.
I think that's why when you notice with women when they talk about their feelings and stuff like that, they get really in depth.
Yeah, and
because they're able to be vulnerable with each other. While men, it's just like, I'm not being vulnerable because I'm a man. Yeah. And you can be suffering like hell on the inside, but you're not going to open up because you're afraid of that stigma. Yeah.
That's so true. It's women are so great at expressing themselves, and I think that's part of the reason why there is it's rising in men and
exactly.
Yeah. What is one thing or a couple of things you tell your younger self? Go through all this.
It's a very big question.
That's it. It is.
Be careful with what you say to who. Understand how you're feeling by talking to people who are close to you, and treat each day as a gift, because it's always better to feel something, even if it's not the thing you're looking for, than to feel absolutely nothing.
Wow, that's really good. I can move to the next question. That was really good. I've thought of those things, but I think the best thing I would tell myself would be just to take your time. Like, I'm 19 years old.
Exactly.
I was like 18, 17 going through what I was going through. And I'm like, bro, I got
so many years left.
I got another 60, 70 years. Just enjoy being where I am at the moment. And because every problem will solve itself as it goes on. As long as you have that positive attitude, it's just how it goes, really.
Allow yourself to make mistakes, because you're only going to learn from them at this age. Don't make those mistakes at 30 or 35.
No.
They're not really redeemable.
No, not at all. Yeah. And that's a tough thing we all have to do when we're young, is just learning the world and finding our feet. And you see people doing things and you don't know what is right or wrong.
Exactly.
And it's just, I don't know, it's tough growing up when there's so much uncertainty, I guess. That's the one thing. Yeah.
You don't feel which way you want to direct your moral compass when you see so much chaos going on around you. You go, well, which way am I supposed to look? There's bad happening over there and there's bad happening over there.
Yeah.
Where is the good? And how can I create it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. What is something you know you can do better on a daily basis and just in general as you move forward in life?
Do better as in something mental or something physical?
I think for anything that complements your mental health, so physical as well as mental, anything that complements how your mental state is.
Okay. This might be strange, but I found drinking a lot of water.
Yeah?
Like, because it's fuel for your body, it's going to keep you focused and hydrated, and like, it just is the best thing for you in terms of, you know, making sure, you know, you're functioning all right on the inside, and then, you know, because you're putting something good inside your body, your mental health's going to improve.
Yeah.
Because you're going, well, I'm only drinking water and I'm only doing that, so what else could be wrong with me?
Yeah. I found...
It might be a stupid piece of advice, I'm sorry.
No. There's a lot of things that you need to focus on, and one of that is what you put into your body.
Yeah.
And how you treat your body is how it's gonna work.
Yeah.
And so I think people do need to actually be reaffirmed that you should drink more water. I think most people don't drink enough on a daily basis. They have a big thing of coffee, they have juices and all different things, and they're fine to have. I think just having a constant flow of water is just it's basic science, and it's always gonna.
It's a fundamental.
Yeah, it's never not gonna be good.
Exactly.
Really,
And take care of your sleep.
Yes.
Sleep well.
Sleep. Oh my god.
Minimum of 8 hours, alright?
Minimum of 8 hours. I've had some just long or short nights. Just staying up doing nothing. Sleep is huge.
It's always nice when you go to bed at 2 and you see that alarm set for 5. And just don't want to be alive tomorrow at all, really.
And that is it's kind of a scary thing when you at that point. So yeah, prepare for bed 2 to 3 hours before. You really take care of that, because you know, it really determines your potential for that day. Sleep. Last question is best advice from yourself for anyone out there. I know you've already given some good advice here and there, but if there's anything else that comes to mind. I think one thing I took from Cody that I'm just like, I can really resonate with is just shit happens, life happens, and you can just control what you do with it, basically.
This is...
I can edit out the waiting time. So.
I think the biggest thing that comes to in terms of exams or life in general is be prepared the best you can and be okay with whatever else happens.
Right.
Because you can be prepared for, you know, you could deck up the walls of your house, be prepared for a flood, you know, I live right next to the water, or something bad's going to happen, tornado roofs through your house.
Yeah.
You can't control that.
No.
But you've prepared the best you can for the likely circumstance that was going to happen. But life decided to fuck you anyway. And that's not your fault.
No, not at all. And that's the whole saying, it's like, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail, that whole thing.
Exactly right.
It's just having that positive mindset continually, no matter what the past has happened in the past. It's just moving forward with that, because it's just going to pay off in the end, and that's really good. Exactly right.
It's just the fact that, you know, as I said before, just treat each day as a gift, because it's so much better being around than it is not. Yeah. Even if, you know, you're going through hardship or, you know, struggling and it feels like hell, it's better than throwing it all away. That's real. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming on. Not a problem. Appreciate it. You did really well. Thank you, sir. That's 2 in a row. 2 people have done really well. So, really happy. I hope you find something good from that, and hope you have a good day. Have a good day, everyone.